Hey guys, welcome again to Fit Station. So Kelly and I will be taking you through a shoulder workout today. Again, this is basics week, okay? So think fit camp, if you will, boot camp for you guys or gals that were in the armed services. I remember doing PT and boot camp. But fit camp, we're going to teach you the basics, okay? We're going to give you 3 exercises.
Okay.
And I think we're going to hit all 3 heads, right?
Yeah, of the shoulders or the delts.
Right, okay. So without any further ado, let's get into it. And remember, if you like the content, please hit that bell, subscribe. So Kelly's going to start off with, and we're going to start off with the lateral, dumbbell lateral.
All right, so I am going to start off with a lighter weight just to make sure my shoulders are nice and warm. So you can bring the dumbbells in front of you, lift in till your shoulders are just above parallel. And you do want to kind of cause that pause at the top and control it on the way down. So we do not want to do these. That is incorrect form. You want to concentrate on lifting and lowering, keeping the tension in the muscles. And you should see that right in the center of my shoulder, that muscle rising up as I'm lifting. And I'm going to do 15 reps here with my warm-up. And these start to get harder, quicker than most exercises because those delts, or the smaller muscle groups, they get worn out a little bit quicker. One thing you want to remember is to keep the elbows soft. I call this like a baby bird learning how to fly. That's one of the cues I give my clients. So I got 3 more, I believe. And if you're following along with me, you should feel the heat in your shoulders for sure. Now ladies, this is important because when you wear these nice strappy dresses in the summertime, we all like to have good shoulders. All right.
I can assure you the guys like the big shoulders too.
Yeah.
On the women. Okay, so again, this is our warm-up set. Let me just pick some light dumbbells here. One thing that Kelly was doing that we didn't point out, she did have a slight bend to her, and the whole idea is to keep the stress on the delts. Okay, so if you're up like this, you're going to the traps, and you're probably going to use a little bit more arm and so forth, whereas slight bend in you, okay, you have a tendency to use your delts more.
So a slight bend with the torso forward is what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. And for those of you out there who do not know, there are 3 heads to the shoulders. There is the front deltoid, which you can see is popping out on Tom right there as he's lifting. The center, or the middle deltoid, and that's the one right on the top. And then the rear delt, which is in the back. We're going to be doing some exercises today to hit all 3 of those. That'll give you the nice caps to the shoulders.
Okay, Kelly's going to jump into our first working set.
So usually my rep range for shoulders is usually a little lower, about 10 reps, just because, like I said, they do get a little more fatigued, and they got more work to do. So again, I am keeping that tension and not allowing the weights just to drop.
Notice the cadence, guys, the cadence of her exercise. A little faster on the way up, slower on the way down. Keeping that tension. Something that people do not follow a lot, but all the pros know and all the coaches are generally aware. Time under tension, okay? Your muscle doesn't grow when it's not under tension. Your muscle doesn't develop when it's not under tension. Your muscle does nothing when it's not under tension. That's called relaxed, okay? And relaxed doesn't build anything, it doesn't shape anything. So time under tension. So when you're coming up, then you're coming down slower, there's more time under tension, okay? It's a principle in physiology that you want to remember, because a lot of guys, they do this kind of stuff, and that really isn't developing a whole lot. Time under tension. A lot of guys, I can't tell you, and 20-year-olds, 80-year-olds, they all come up and ask the same question. Why do you take so long to do your exercise? Time under tension, guys. Time under tension. We're going to get into a lot more, some of the more advanced techniques, drop sets and pyramid sets, and some things like this too, which help add some variety and more stress to the muscle. But time under tension is a principle you definitely want to remember.
So again, on choosing your weights for the lateral raise, you want to choose weights that you can stay in control of and that you're able to give that cadence to. So another way of thinking about that is that you're fighting gravity on the way down. Don't let the gravity get control. You want to control it and lower the weights. Do not let them drop. And another thing to consider is anytime you're working with free weights, you do want to keep your core nice and tight. So what exactly does that mean? You want to pull those abdominal muscles in as much as you can, and that is also for safety of the spine.
Good tip, good tip. Okay, working set number 2.
All right. So another thing I like to do here is kind of turn the palms towards the back. That helps me get that right motion with my elbows. It allows me to work the shoulders without my forearms trying to take over.
So keeping that tension on the shoulder area.
Exactly.
Okay, remember we just discussed time under tension. So there's a technique to keep more tension. And ultimately what that's going to do, guys, once again, and I say guys and girls, okay, what that's going to do is help develop that muscle safely and more rapidly.
So even when I'm tired, I'm still fighting that gravity on the way down. Okay, it's my turn. You're up.
Good job. One other thing too, when I start, I'll generally come in all the way, but I don't come all the way to this point here when I do during my exercise. Okay, again, I'm keeping it under tension. When you come here, you can just see, if you take a look at the muscle, how it's moving, just that little bit. When I come here, it's more relaxed. Okay, when I come here, it's still under tension. So when I do my exercise, that's how far I'm coming down. I'm keeping it under tension.
Now, one thing with the lateral raise I always like to tell my clients is when you start to lose your form in this exercise, please stop and rest. Take a few moments of rest and then try again. Because once you start to lose your form, you're no longer hitting that muscle group. You've got all kinds of other things taking over.
Okay, working set number 3 for Kelly.
All right. And I do actually most of the time have one foot in front of the other, but I am still doing that forward tilt just a little bit. This position for me helps keep me from leaning backwards and compressing those vertebrae in the low back. And last one.
So Kelly, when you competed in the fitness and bikini, your posture, I'm sure, was very important.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
How does this exercise help with posture?
Well, this exercise helps with posture because you're helping to learn how to hold that core tight and have that slight rotation back with the low back. and pull your shoulders back, because you have to have your shoulders back in order to activate that movement.
Now, when a guy or a girl pulls their shoulders back a little bit, what happens? Okay, guys, again, this channel's real, okay?
Yeah.
Guys and girls, we have a advantage here of having a fitness and bikini competitor, okay? That is one of our coaches. What does that do for a woman when their shoulders come back?
So it pulls the chest forward and also is going to accentuate the shoulders as well as the neck.
Yeah. And it's going to pull that breast up, right?
It pulls your chest up, yeah. And if you're standing right, it usually, if you've really got yourself pulled up, it usually pulls the abdominals in as well.
So that posture overall is much more appealing.
Right, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it's not just healthier, okay? But again, keep in mind, body recomping, okay? That's one of the things we focus on here at our coaching business is the recomposition, the recomping. And the whole idea there with recomping, not just the health benefits, although there are many, is the aesthetic benefits, okay? Kelly and I both deal with folks every day, and you know, I can tell you, and I'm sure she would echo the response, everybody wants to look better.
Right.
Who doesn't want to look better, right? So the body recomposition, the posture, all these different things make you look much better, okay? And again, that's going to give you some motivation to continue, and really that's one of the biggest problems we see with folks is the motivation to continue.
The other thing with strength training is that it also helps you maintain bone density.
Oh yeah.
It keeps the joints nice and lubricated. So it does a lot of preventive maintenance to the body, and it also makes you stronger and more functional throughout life.
Absolutely, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Good tips, guys. I'm going to hit my third working set. And again, doesn't matter what weight you're using, use a weight that accomplishes the goal. Think of it as resistance, not necessarily weight. Okay? So don't think I got to use the same weight as the next guy or what have you. You don't.
No, actually with the lateral raise, most people need to start relatively light until they can build the strength and the form in this exercise. Again, you are focusing on the delts, and you need to make sure you're lifting with those and not everything else within the body.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, guys, so that's our first exercise that we're doing here. Come on in, Kel.
Okay.
So that's our first exercise, okay? One of the reasons that we picked that exercise to start with on the delts is because it's going to pre-exhaust and get the blood in there without using the heavy weights of a press or something like that, okay? Big technique, once again, I learned fortunately early on out in California with the pros, pre-exhaustion principle. Very, very important, okay? With regards to shaping, with regards to more rapid muscle advancement and so forth. So that's what we did with this exercise. So we're gonna go ahead and set up. And what are we doing now, Cal?
Next, we're going to do a seated shoulder press on the Smith machine.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, guys, exercise number 2, behind the neck press.
All right, so you want to unlock the machine. You're still looking for that nice angle from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. All that's kind of relative depending on how long your arms are. So you're going to unlock it, press up to full extension. Think about pulling those shoulder blades up and then slowly dropping it down. So you want to make sure this is comfortable for you. I suggest people start lighter.
And that's an important part. You can start light, you can have less range of motion, all those things initially. Those things will come, okay? You will get more weight or more resistance as you go forward, and you'll get better range of motion as you move forward as well. And when I say move forward, I mean you get more fit. Okay, let's go, throw 25 on.
On top of that.
Okay,
There's the
guys.
meditation bell.
I'm bigger, more muscle mass. My range of motion, my genetics is going to be different from the next person. Your range of motion is going to be different from the next person. Okay, but the general idea is to get a good, solid foundation of where you are. Again, you'll notice we continue to use these rings in the neural area. which you can kind of hear. And then it's got the smooth area of rings. So we use that for placement, okay? Doesn't mean you have to be right there, but we use it for general placement and to try and make sure that we're balanced on both sides, okay? A lot of that's going to depend on your shoulder width, your mobility, all those types of things, okay?
So the Smith machine is a good place to start for this exercise if you're already there and have not done it before. Because it is going to keep you, it's going to force you into that same range of motion. It is a safety net because you don't need a spotter and you'll start to get out of control because it's on a locking mechanism. The other thing is if you happen to have one side of your body that's stronger than the other, it's going to help you compensate for that just a little bit.
Exactly. And you'll notice, I can see it, of course I'm looking for it, but you can notice how it's starting to push back that rear delt area, okay? And that's what we're working on. You're gonna get a little trap in there as you're doing it. But again, we're trying to hit the different heads of the rear delts. And right now we're working on primarily the rear head. But any pressing movement is going to work all of them to some extent, right?
Exactly.
And it's going to work your triceps a little bit, and your chest a little bit, your traps a little bit. That's just natural. Okay, Kelly's going to do her second working set.
And you do want to make sure that whenever you're doing these, you're in the most comfortable position and you don't feel any pinches or pulls in the neck or anywhere in the spine. And whatever's comfortable for your shoulders.
Positioning on the bench, all those types of things, positioning of your arms, your hand placement. Those are things that you'll do better in time. I think it's a good tip that Kelly gave, using less weight, particularly to start off, until you learn where those hand positions are and how comfortable you feel and how your muscle performs. And you know, you may have a weak area, you may not, but
Another thing to remember is the delts do typically wear out a little bit faster than larger muscle groups, so it's always safer to work your way up.
absolutely.
And take rest when you need to.
Absolutely. Good tip. So we're doing my second working set now. And
Right.
notice I try to position using that knurled and non-knurled area.
So when Tom was speaking earlier about the range of motion, you'll see that we have a little bit of difference there in our range of motion. I'm able to draw my elbow just a little bit lower. That really is not so important as long as you aren't going too low and as long as you're getting that full press.
Yeah, if you're keeping it under tension,
Yes.
that's our main goal here. I generally like to tell beginners particularly, and I did this from day one when I started, get as much range of motion as you can. So Kelly and I are very aware of different principles that are used in the bodybuilding world. A little bit less range of motion in order to get certain aspects of muscle growth. But for general health,
Yeah.
okay, wouldn't you say more range of motion the better?
More range of motion, yes, I would say so. As long as it's comfortable for you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So go ahead and try and use full range of motion as you get into it, and our videos will expound on these other techniques here in the future. You'll see that you can use less range of motion, so forth, under certain circumstances. Okay, Kelly's going to hit her third working set.
Okay, here we go. Shoulders getting a little tired. And I am thinking about those shoulders doing the push off like I'm trying to get this bar away from me.
Nice thing about that Smith machine, when you get stuck halfway between a repo there, you can just go ahead and rack it.
You can just lock it, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I love this thing. So for you guys and you girls that are beginning, Smith machine is fabulous. I will tell you, in a pro bodybuilder's repertoire though, they're still used. So the Smith machine is a phenomenal piece of equipment, adds a bit of safety to your exercise, adds good stability. We like them in the fitness world.
So I don't know if you noticed whenever my last set there, I did a pause at the top. So that's my split-second break when my shoulders are getting tired. I just pause, stay in control of the weight, and then continue on.
Yeah. Okay guys, so that's our second exercise. We're gonna set up for our third and final exercise in this particular routine, and we'll be right back. Okay, Kelly's getting ready for her third and final exercise in this routine. Kelly, what are we gonna do?
So we're gonna do rear delts or rear delt cable flies.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do here is I usually stand with 1 foot forward again, like I told you before, in the lateral raises. That helps me to keep that forward tilt just a little bit. And we're going to just open up, concentrating on the rear delt, which is this one back here. Triceps will assist a little bit. We want to try and resist using the triceps, so not too much of bending down, pulling with the triceps. All right. So I'm just going to bring it straight out to a T, control it on the way back in.
Once again, notice how she's keeping the muscle group, in this case the delts, under tension. You can see that rear delt there, how it's popping out when she comes back. You can also see how when she gets to the front part of the movement, it declines, showing you that there's less tension at that point.
All right, that was a little burn.
Good job, good job. I've not used this machine before, so I'm not sure what way I want to use, but.
So you can see there as it's pulling back, that rear delt raising up, just in the back of the shoulder. So you will notice Tom's grip on the handles is a little bit different than mine. He's actually using the handles, and he's able to stay in control of that and focus on his rear delts. I am not. I have to actually hold on to the straps and keep my palms facing down in order for myself to keep the focus. Otherwise, my wrists want to take over. So that's just a little bit of difference and a little bit of a tip if you're having a hard time focusing on those rear delts.
Notice too how I'm really tensing in that back part of the movement. That's where the most tension is.
Right.
Okay, so that's where I'm going to be able to get the most bang for my buck, as they say, in terms of muscle growth, in terms of speed of muscle growth, in terms of blood flow to the area, those types of things. Okay, Kel's going to do her second working set.
So the other thing I like to point out with a cable machine is that it's got tension. You want to keep that tension both ways. This cable is going to want to pull you right back into it, and you're going to fight that. You want to fight that coming right back together. So you don't want the plates to take over, the weight of the machine to take over. You want to control it on the way back in.
And is that tension constant with the cables?
Yes, I guess it's constant.
Pretty
Yeah,
much, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's one of the beauties of using
Right.
cables, as opposed to using dumbbells, for example, bent over in this position, because you have constant tension. Now, once you get to that very front part, you lose some tension, but you still have some tension there. Whereas with dumbbells, you have much less tension. Definitely not constant. You'll notice a lot of competitors use this movement It's very popular in the fitness world. Cables in general, I do a lot of cable work when I work out, particularly for triceps and things of that nature where I really want to hit certain areas. So cables are great, they're safe, they help keep the tension there, and remember, what do we keep saying? Time under tension, so you want tension, tension's good. And guys, I'm sorry, this is my first time on this particular machine, so I don't know what my weight should be. Figuring that out as we go.
Yeah. Another thing you can kind of focus on this cable rear delt is to think about pulling those shoulder blades back and towards the spine or back and together. Also, see how Tom's keeping the form within his body, within his torso. He's not flexing back and forth. That's extremely important. Don't allow your body or your torso to flex back and forth, taking over the movement. You want to put that focus in the shoulders.
Now, this weight was a little bit light for me. Again, I'm not used to this particular piece of equipment. In Kelly's gym here, I don't usually work out here. So you'll notice at the end there, I kept going. I did about 18 reps and I did them a little faster at the end. So once you get to a fatigue point, if you're using a light enough weight, you can do that. And again, it's just another principle to help get more blood flow, to help get more action into that area.
So we're going to the last one.
One more. Do you have any preference in general with regards to cables versus free weights? How about a woman's perspective and how you feel about that?
Well, I actually really enjoy both. I like the free weights because I feel like it helps you so much with all the sister muscles working out for you, so you get a lot more from your workout versus using isolated machines, not the cable. The cable, though, on the other hand, when you're really trying to pinpoint a muscle group or a muscle, you can really get a lot of workout out of it versus a dumbbell. You kind of get tired, you can start to lose your form, you lose your focus as you start getting fatigued.
So with your clients, do you have any of your clients that are doing bikini or fitness too?
Not at this time, but I have trained people in the past.
Okay, so the ones that you've trained in the past for fitness and bikini, do you key in more on cables than you do on free weights?
We use both. We definitely used both. And for figure competitors, it was really important to get the shoulders nice and developed. That's one of the major things they looked for. So yeah, we used the combination of the dumbbells and the cables. The rear delt here on the cable, as well as lateral raises, because sometimes I have people who can't figure out how to do the lateral raise correctly, so the cable machine would help me.
So we discussed it briefly earlier, and we're going to do a video, a home training video.
Bands.
If you don't have cables,
The band.
you can use the bands,
Yes.
okay? The same principle. Keep in mind, we're not looking at weight per se. Guys, even me, I'll hit some heavy weights in the gym still, but I don't necessarily look at it as weight per se. I look at it as the amount of resistance. This is resistance just like weight, okay? So you can get a workout on this.
Right.
During COVID, all I did was push-ups and pulls to a bar.
Right. And the other thing that's great about bands is if you are traveling, they can always go with you. You never have to miss a workout.
There you go. Cool.
All right, so we're going to give this one more go. And again, I do hold the handles and my palms face down, and I'm focusing on those rear delts, focusing on pulling those shoulder blades back and together, and opening in like a T-type position. I'm also noticing I'm not flexing back and forth with my torso. So what that means is I'm not doing this, because that's not your shoulders working. That's your torso swinging around, about to injure your back. All right.
Good job. So, guys, that was an important tip that Kelly was talking about with regards to swinging body movement. Not only can it be dangerous, you can pull your back muscle, things of that nature, and I don't want to hear, oh, geez, you're just being overly caught. Guys do it every day in the gym, every day, and we're talking guys my size. Okay, it happens. Okay, sloppy form not only gets you sloppy results, okay, but it's also going to get you hurt. It's just that simple.
And also, when you're holding that torso nice and tight, keeping that core locked down, you are actually working on your abdominals, your obliques, your intercostals, your abdominal wall completely is working the whole time.
Positively, positively.
So today we have worked on lateral raises, shoulder press, and rear delts. So you do want to have a nice balance to the shoulders. I have learned through my profession that a lot of shoulder injury is actually equated to imbalance in the shoulder, meaning that one head of the shoulder starts to work or become overdeveloped from the other, which takes the rotator cuff off balance and can start to create tears. So it is important in general in life to have a nice balanced shoulder, to be able to push up, push out, and to be able to pull.
Important tip, good point. So guys, this ends our routine for today. Morning, Cal.
All right.
So again, like she was saying, we did our shoulders today. This is a good routine that they can add with one of our other routines we did, which
is the chest, because when you're working your chest, your front part of your shoulder, your front delt is already being worked.
Mm-hmm. So all that blood's in the area, they're ready to go. We would advise doing your chest first, and then doing your deltoids, your shoulder area. And the reason for that is because it's a much smaller muscle group. Okay, so not only are you going to do your chest a disservice by working this area first because you won't have enough strength for the chest, but you're more likely to get injured or prone to injury that way as well. Okay, Kelly, any other tips we can give them today before we sign off?
Just make sure you stay hydrated. Check us out. Contact us if you need help.
Guys, keep in mind, this is how we make our living. This is our profession, okay? We've both been in it for decades. If you're interested in coaching, you want to get more advanced more rapidly, okay? You can hire us as a coach. And remember, you're getting 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can handle women and men, okay, equally as well. We can handle, if you're hardcore bodybuilding or if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, if you're a model. I happen to have a model from Venezuela. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she does body recomping simply for her modeling. Okay, so we can do any of these things for you. Whatever your goals are, we can help you attain it, and we can help you attain it faster. Okay, all with good nutrition, good lifestyle changes, basics 101 of health and fitness. And if you want to contact us, you can contact us at fitcoaching59@gmail.com. That's fitcoaching59@gmail.com. If you like the content, what do we want them to do?
Like us, ring the bell.
There you go. Ring that bell. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to get viewerships. And once we get viewerships, it allows us to continue bringing you free content. We don't get paid for these videos. Who knows, maybe someday down the road we might, but we don't get paid for these videos, okay? So this is all our time, our energy, our money to help bring you this information. So we'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Ring the bell, subscribe. If you like the content, come back. We have a lot of new stuff coming up for you. Our intention is to put out at least 1 or 2 videos a week, and we'll go ahead and give you all the straight dope. Ask us questions as well. Do not hesitate, okay? The channel email is fitstation59@gmail.com. So just hit us up on FitStation, which if you're on the channel, that's the email that you'll automatically get. fitstation59@gmail.com. If you're interested in coaching, fitcoaching59@gmail.com. And Kelly and I are here to give you a hand. And on that note,
And we can also help you with nutrition. We're both equally
very
qualified.
Nutrition. Absolutely.
Right.
Lots of nutrition. Kelly's worked with a lot of competitors. I've worked with a lot of competitors and pro athletes as well. Very, very well positioned on nutrition. I used to be on a TV show
Yes.
as the nutritional consultant. Kelly has done TV shows as well.
Right.
On the competitor side or on the nutrition side? Or?
I did it as a community service, so for people at home who wanted
Ah.
to work out. So nutrition-wise, I do basic nutrition. I've helped actually people with chronic diseases such as diabetes, thyroid disease, things like that.
And we're going to do some videos on that kind of stuff because that's extremely important, okay? You can be fit. Diabetes is one of the main things, main problems in our country.
Right.
So we'll get into some of these different things. We'll continue to bring you great content. So please like and subscribe so that we can do that, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, thanks for joining us.